what we're going to be discussing on this workshop essentially is how to build really the ultimate client acquisition system. Now, this is something that I've spent a lot of time studying, spent a lot of money learning how to do, and eventually got to a point where I've kind of like really developed a proven system that's been battle tested, and I've played around with it, and I built one for my fitness business, built another one for coaching, and now it's at a point where I want to teach as many people as possible how to set it up because it's evergreen and it's fully automated. So this is really, we're going to be learning how to build an automated system for getting high paying clients, even if have no tech skills and you don't really have a big following, right? And that's going to be super key in this training, because once you're going to be learning how to spend your time doing the right things and how important it is to really spend your time efficiently, but then also invest time into building something that people are going to want, right? So at the very end of this, I'm going to give all you guys here an opportunity to really copy exactly what I'm doing and get an actual proven system and be able to connect all the different dots, so that you can replicate the same model. And one of the most important things that I want you guys to understand is that doing exactly what everybody else is doing isn't going to work, right? Those that try to practice method and methodologies are going to fail, but those that learn principles and learn how to implement principles are going to be successful no matter what they do. So this is what I'm going to be showing you guys. I'm going to be giving you guys the principles and giving you guys a method, and showing you how to adapt the actual principle so that you can be successful and experience the same kind of success, right? So the online industry is extremely broken. Why? So the majority of coaches and consultants are just jacks of all trades and really not a master of none. And I'm just going to be recapping a lot of this stuff just because I want you guys to really understand how important it is, what we're going to be diving into. Some of you guys may be familiar with this already, but I want to go through it just so you really are able to connect the dots and understand how important the foundation is for doing what I'm going to show you guys how to do, right? A lot of people suffer from what I love to call the squirrel syndrome. If you've ever seen the movie Up, you know that there was a dog that had like the voice piece, and you could hear his thoughts. And every time it saw a squirrel, it would just lose focus and get easily distracted. And then people become coaches and consultants for freedom and impact. But most coaches and consultants are more trapped in their business when they go online. And I want you to understand this. So you got to start your business with the end in mind, right? When I first decided to start, I wanted freedom and I wanted flexibility and I wanted to create impact. But because I started like my online business and started doing some of the things that I was doing in person, I started to get trapped. And that's where I want to stress the fact that if you guys want to actually have freedom and impact, then you got to think about where the end goal is, reverse engineer it, and then put in the systems in place to actually get that. And then to add insult to injury, the people that are winning aren't even good at delivering on this service. They're so good at selling. And this pisses me off because, so for those of you guys that are actually good at what you do, how frustrating is it when you encounter somebody who is making a lot of money, but they're not even good at actually delivering on their service? So you're like, how is this person being so successful, right? So this is really why I want to do this, because I want to help those that are focused on delivering quality and have integrity win, right? This is one of the biggest things that frustrated the hell out of me. Is like, man, I know I'm good at what I do. Why is this person beating me? You know, like, I'm like, man, like, I actually deliver and put time into really getting my clients results. How is it that I can stand out in the marketplace so that people can really see and have the opportunity to work with somebody that's genuine and have an opportunity to work with somebody that's real, right? So I'm just going to do a super brief intro. So we know my name's Iggy. I got certified 2012. Been doing this by 2017. I was doing over 100 sessions a week, 100 sessions of personal training a week, right? Gave it up, went to a business workshop. Mine was totally blown. Spent a lot of money learning digital marketing, generated a decent amount of money with just one online program, and it's just been crazy, right? So I do want to give you guys an earning disclaimer, and I have to do this because I'm recording it and I'm going to put it on Facebook. So I want to walk you guys through the exact method I used to get the real results, and I'm going to show you guys, some examples of people that are winning, and your results is going to vary. So that's just a quick earnings disclaimer. So spent a lot of money learning this stuff the hard way, and now I'm going to show you guys the exact system that you can use and how to put the pieces in place so that you can actually build this out and go out and start implementing this, right? So quick snapshot of, just took this from last week. Just so you guys can see, this isn't even my main source of income. This is on the side, right? So what we're going to discuss in here are three main secrets and three main pillars. Number one, we're going to learn how to create your own niche and become your go-to specialist for your market. Now, this is super important because one of the things that you hear a lot is you got to niche down, but how do you actually do that? And how do you do it at a high level to where you're actually, you're able to stand out? So that's going to tie into secret number two, where we're going to learn how to build a unique methodology for getting clients results that will separate you from the competition. Now, this first two are super important that we actually go through because they're going to tie into secret number three. We're going to learn how to utilize systems and automations to turn your methodology into an automated lead magnet, right? So a lot of people, when they try to replicate and copy what somebody else is doing, because they haven't taken the time to actually develop their own methods, it's obvious that you are a copycat. It's obvious that this isn't really you, right? So once you learn how to take what's you and you're actually able to utilize systems and automations to deliver that, now you're going to be getting highly qualified prospects that want to work with you because they see that you're authentic and that you're real, right? So secret number one, we're going to learn how to automate, how to create your own niche and become the go-to specialist. So most people think that you need to have a massive following or be some type of celebrity or have a lot of money to be able to do what we're discussing here, right? The problem with trying to build a massive following is there's no money in building a massive following, right? If you don't know how to monetize, then putting in all the work and building a massive following does not help. I wasted so much time trying to build like my Instagram following and getting it to a point where it's like, I even got it to a point where it's close to like 25,000 people, but I didn't know how to monetize. I didn't really have a clear message. And so I attracted a lot of weird people. It attracted a lot of different things. And then that celebrity status, actually, the problem with trying to build a celebrity status is that you put yourself out of reach for your audience, right? So you don't want to have that kind of like celebrity status, even though it looks lucrative and it looks like there's a lot of money to be made having that status. And a lot of people try to do that. So for me, when I was trying to build my quote unquote celebrity status, I was trying to be a fitness model. I was trying to get in magazines and trying to build that status because I thought that's what I needed to be successful, right? And so I don't know if any of you guys have tried to do that, but it's going to be a waste of your time, right? So here's what you need to do. The solution is going to be, so we got to actually create your own niche, and we actually have to turn you into a specialist of some type that people seek for specific results, right? So you need to specialize in something, even if it's just like for face value, to get people to be able to associate you with a specific result. So this is going to allow you to become just a bigger fish in a little pond, right? So I like to use this as a generalist versus a specialist. So we know generalists work a hell of a lot more and make a hell of a lot less, right? Surgeons don't work that much. They're specialists and they make so much money, right? Because what their skill set, they have a high ticket skill set that people are willing to invest their money in, right? So being a specialist, here's going to be the benefit in learning how to specialize in one thing, right? There's a greater perceived value for your time. Therefore, it's not wasted, right? And I highlight the word perceived because as a specialist, there's a greater perceived value, right? So if you specialize in not just weight loss, but if you specialize in helping people transform their metabolism, right? For you, Lynette, if you specialize in helping people really monetize their social media and expand their organic reach, right? You want to specialize in something that people can actually seek for a specific result, right? So, and when you do that, you're seen as the expert and the authority, and therefore you can charge more for the solution that you offer. All right, when you specialize in something, you are seen as the expert and authority. For me, I've dedicated myself to specializing in systems and automations. Why? Because I know this is a skill that a lot of people lack and something that I have a knack for. And therefore, I put a lot of my eggs in that basket to really learn how to do this. And it's dramatically had an impact on my own business. So that's some of the things you want to be thinking about. What can I specialize in? What am I knowledgeable about? What area in this niche am I really good at? And then you become the specialist for that. Now, the added benefit of specializing is the quality of prospects seeking you out are warmer because they recognize you as the only solution to their problem, right? So if you're a plastic surgeon, if somebody's when somebody comes into your store, into your office or into your facility, you know they're seeking you out because of what you specialize in, right? It's not like people that go to like a farmer's market where you can find everything at a discount. Why? Because everybody's competing against each other. Everybody's a commodity. So when people are seeking a specialist, they already have the value of your time, they perceive you as an expert and authority, and they're seeking you for a specific result. Therefore, they're higher quality and they're willing to spend more to get your solution because you are the go-to, right? So this single shift tripled the price of my coaching packages, increased our sales volume, and more than doubled our profits per client. All right, because I can now when I get on the phone with clients and prospects are reaching out to me, I'm a specialist and they know that I have the answer to their problem, and therefore I can charge more for it and have a greater impact. Now, the reason why it's important that you're able to charge what you're worth is one, because people that are willing to pay more are much better clients. They're lower maintenance and they do exactly what you say. Why? Because they just invested a lot of money into you, right? So that not only are they going to get better results, but they're also going to be better clients for you, right? So your challenge, and I want you to be writing this down and I want you to be taking notes. So your challenge is to pick one thing to specialize in. What are you going to actually specialize in, right? For me, when I did this, the biggest shift came, I was like, you know what? I'm very knowledgeable about, your metabolism when it came to fitness. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to specialize in metabolic transformation. Transforming your metabolism, that's what I'm going to specialize in. So pick one thing that you want to specialize in. And when it came to fitness coaching or business coaching, I was like, I want to specialize in systems and automations, helping people build systems and automating the bitch so that it runs on autopilot, right? Excuse my French, my bad. But anyway, so stop being a generalist and learn how to specialize in one thing so that you can actually build a profitable business. Okay, so far what we covered is how to create your own niche and become the go-to specialist for your market. So pick something to specialize in so that people can recognize you and start to seek you out for that result. So we discussed doing this so that you can increase the value of our coaching programs by doing so, right? So now the next secret, what we want to do is learn how to build a unique methodology for getting clients results that will separate you from the competition. Once you do this and have these pillars in place, the last pillar we're going to discuss is going to actually learn how to build out the unique, the ultimate client acquisition system. So what most coaches are going to teach you is you got to do an absurd amount of messaging and reach out to a lot of people and do posts on social media all the time and just kind of be all over the place. And the issue with this is you can't communicate something you don't understand, right? So if you don't even know what your offer really is and you don't have a clear message, how are you going to be communicating to people what that is if you're a generalist, right? If you help any and everybody, how are you really going to communicate to anyone, right? And what they're going to tell you is to focus on just getting as many opportunities and getting as many people on the phone and selling as much as you can before you ever even have the time to flesh out what it is that you do, right? So you can't sell something that you don't have, right? It's impossible. And I remember for me, I would get really, really frustrated because I get on the phone with so many people and wouldn't get any sales. And I'm like, well, I'm doing exactly what I'm told. I'm doing exactly what this coach is telling me to do, right? The shifts didn't really come until I went back to the drawing board and I was like, you know what? What the hell am I actually offering people, right? What is it that I'm delivering to people? When I organized that and I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to specialize in, right? I took the principles that I learned. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is what I'm going to specialize in, right? And then I mapped that out. I'm like, okay, this is my method. This is how I'm going to get people result. I don't care what this person is saying, this person is saying. I don't care what this person is doing. This is how I'm going to get people results, right? Once I did that and got my ducks in a row and I clarified my message and I started to be true to who I was and the kind of service that I want to deliver, it's been a night and day difference, especially when I get on the phone with people. It's a night and day difference. My level of confidence is higher. People can tell that I'm being genuine. My message is actually resonating with those that I'm connecting with because it's true to who I am and it's true to what I offer and it's true to my brand message, right? The important thing about this is we're not just looking to make a quick buck. And if you're here just to make a quick buck, like this can be a complete waste of your time because what I'm talking about is real hard work. It's actually taking the time to develop something that's going to be of value to people, right? So the solution is we got to build a unique methodology. So you got to build a unique method for getting client results that's going to separate you from the competition. This is my unique methodology here. We call it the 180 method, right? So we took what it is that I want to do for people, put it into a step-by-step game plan, took the different steps and grouped it into phases. And these become the 3 pillars that I pitch people when I get on the phone with them, right? If you listen to my sales call, I'm not even a good salesperson. I'm just confident in the value that I provide, and people can hear that and they see that and they're like, wow, okay, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I'm looking for. And if you listen to my sales calls over and over and over again, every single time you're going to hear people say, wow, this is different. I've never heard this before. I've never heard that before. This is exactly what I've been looking for. Nobody talks about this. Why? Because it's unique. So that's what you want to put into time to do, is develop some type of unique approach that you can use to help people get results, right? And then group the different steps into different phases and give each phase a name so that people can start to identify you as the person that they seek for this specific type of result, and you can start to become the specialist for it. Now, this is going to be super important because everything else that you do moving forward goes back to this: how you message your marketing campaign, the videos and the content that you create, all the different things that you do is going to go back to this, and it's going to make your brand message so much clearer when you take the time to do this. You have to take the time to do this, or you're going to be banging your head through a wall wondering why people aren't connecting with your message, wondering why you're having a hard time getting people to respond, is because you may be saying one thing, but then when they look at your brand and they look at what you offer and what you do, they're like, what does this person really do? They don't know because you're not unique. They look at everybody else and it's like, oh, I do this, I do that. And it's like everybody else, right? So this is going to allow you to become the only solution to your prospects. When you develop a unique methodology, you're going to become the only solution to your prospects, and what you're able to charge for your solution dramatically increases because there's nothing they can compare it to, right? So what is a unique methodology? We're just going to dive into some of these basics. So it's your process that you use to get a transformation for a client. So whether it could be financial, it could be increasing getting them more leads. It could be helping them lose weight. It could be helping them transform their mindset. It could be life coaching, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you kind of service that you want to offer, whatever kind of coaching you want to offer, you need to create a unique way of actually getting them results so that they can identify you as that, right? It's your step-by-step roadmap from just getting clients from point A to point B, and that's it. So when this is done right, it creates a compelling reason for your audience to engage with you. So this is how the market is going to identify you as a go-to expert for their problems. So with a unique methodology comes a unique message, right? The goal is to build a legitimate brand, right? If you're just trying to just make money as quick as you can, and you don't care about building a business, you don't care about having an impact, just go ahead and leave, just because it's going to be a waste of your time. The goal is to build a legit brand that people can start to recognize, right? With a unique message, you can create brand recognition and trust. And this also increases the perceived value of your business, thus increasing the perceived value of your service. So what if you can have just like an endless supply of people that need your coaching or program or your coaching, right? You have an endless supply of people who are actually looking for the solution that you have to offer. And then you have an endless supply of people that can actually afford to get started. All right, so your business is going to completely take off. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. And we're going to be talking about how to do that very shortly. So with a unique methodology comes a unique message. And with that comes a unique way of attracting ideal clients. And this is where we're going to be getting into some of the good stuff. Is learning how to create a unique way of attracting your ideal clients. All right, so far, quick recap. Number one, we discussed how to become the go-to expert in your niche and become the specialist for your market. Number two, we discussed how to build a unique methodology for getting client results that will separate you from the competition. We discussed how having a unique methodology makes it easy for your ideal clients to identify you as a solution. You want to be able to be seen in the marketplace. You got to help people know who you are, what it is that you do, and how it is that you can help them, right? So now we're going to be diving into secret number three, where we're going to learn how to utilize systems and automations to turn your methodology into an automated lead magnet. Now, this is super, super exciting because this is the kind of stuff that I geek out over, right? But the first two steps you can't skip because they're the foundation for this. If you don't have something that you specialize in, if you don't have a process in place, then there's nothing for you to systemize. There's nothing for you to automate, right? You're just going to be copying what everybody else is doing. So most people think they need to do all the heavy lifting themselves, right? The old saying, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself, right? Now, this is true to some extent, but the problem with this, it's just too much work and it's way too time consuming and it creates a bottleneck, right? So it's a lot of work if you're trying to do everything yourself, super time consuming trying to figure out all the pieces and get them to connect. And then you become the bottleneck because it's only going to grow with as much as you can do. So the solution to doing this, because this is going to be your destiny eventually, This is going to be you just stressed out, having nothing, nothing coming in. You just have a lot of work that you're trying to do. All right. So Delusion is just kind of, what if you had a system that generated leads on autopilot, nurtured those leads on autopilot, and when it came time to delivering it, it delivered the fulfillment on autopilot as well, right? Now you would have developed a key to your income freedom and your time freedom, right? So how so? Leads equals opportunity, nurturing equals relationship, and fulfillment equals trust. And I like to, and I'm doing this because, and I want you guys to understand this, because they're all important, right? They're all important for having stability and sustainability in your business, right? You need opportunities, you need the relationships, and you need trust, because if you don't have those things, you're not going to make any money, right? So this is where the UCA system is going to come into play. So this system equals sales for your business. Why? Because when you go back to it, we're learning how to acquire leads. We're learning how to nurture those leads and build relationships. And we're learning how to deliver on our promise and create trust, right? When we take the time into doing this, you create such a bond with your prospect. I mean, I've had people started to come back that even came back, a couple weeks ago, that signed up, that went through one of my programs months ago. In fact, I talked to a guy on Monday who was like, man, I've been waiting to have enough to sign up, and they actually signed up today, right? So when you do that, you're going to have a lasting impact on people. And even if they don't have it in the moment, even if they don't have the money at the time, they're going to find it, and they're going to make it happen, and they're going to come back to you because they've associated you with somebody that can actually help them and somebody that's genuine, right? So that's why this is really, really important. That's why I want to make sure we're not skipping ahead and just trying to just get as many sales as possible in an unethical manner, right? You don't want to leave a bad taste in people's mouth, and you want to build something that actually provides value, and build something that's so good that people are happy to give you their hard-earned money for, because it's worth it. All right. So here are my different UCA systems. So I have my bread and butter, my pride and joy on the left, and this is my 7-day Fat Blaster course, my 7-day Fat Blaster program. And I have my bread and butter on the right, and that is an online launch formula. Now, some of you guys have gone through it, and you see that while this provides an insane amount of value, when you go through it, when you go through either program, I've put in the time. I've put in a lot of time into developing these things, and everybody that goes through it can feel it. They're like, wow, this is legit. That's what you want from people. The worst thing that I've experienced is going into a coaching program and being like, what the hell did I just sign up for? Oh my goodness, I was gypped. Like, oh my goodness, I was gypped. Because they don't put any time into it, and they just focus on just generating as many sales as possible. And when people come into your stuff, for me personally, I was like, you know what? I never want to make anybody feel like that. And they got to a point for me personally, I was like, you know what? I can't do it anymore. I need to break out. I need to just separate. I need to put in time into developing something that is actually legit, that people, when they come in, they're like, wow, I am getting way more value than I thought I was getting, right? Not when people come in, they're like, holy smoke, this is not what I expected. This is way less. I don't want people to have to settle for what I have to offer because they don't have another choice, because I've locked them in, right? So when you do this, people are going to come in and they're going to be like, wow, this person is genuine. They're real. They're good at what they do. And I can't wait to give them my money. Why? Because I know if all odds fail, they're going to help me. right? And that's what you want people to feel. And it takes time to do that. And it takes a lot of work to build these things out. But I promise you, it's going to be worth it if you're doing it with the right attitude. If you really have a heart to help people, it's going to be worth it in the long run, because people are going to recognize what's real from what's fake. They may get fooled the first, second, or third time, but they're going to eventually start to be like, you know what? They're just not going to be as trusting anymore. And so that means you have to put in the time to really be able to deliver. And that's where we're talking about the lead, the nurturing, the fulfillment. You need the opportunity, the relationship, and you got to build the trust, and you got to be able to deliver what you sell people on. Okay. So this is an overview of the UCA system, right? So step one, this is just like kind of like how it flows. Obviously, you kind of build it from the back up. So when people come in, they're coming from a traffic source. From the traffic source, they enter my world, they opt in into my lead magnet, right? And then as soon as they opt into my system, they're going through a pre-framing period where I'm pre-framing them, and I'm positioning myself as an expert. I'm positioning myself as somebody who understands the problem. I'm positioning myself as somebody who's relatable, all these different things, right? And then they go into the nurturing, where you're delivering a ton of value. You're giving them a great experience, and you're getting them to a point where they're like, wow, this person is actually really good. They know what they're talking about. And when it comes down to the fulfillment, you are completely over delivering on what they expect. And then after they kind of go through your process, then they're eager to book a session with you. People that go through my lead magnets are eager to book an appointment with me. They're actually looking forward to it. I've split tested people that come from my UCA system and people that came from different lead magnets that I got from other coaching programs, whether it was like a quick webinar or VSL or a Hack Organic or whatever it is. I've tested the quality of both. Hands down, the relationship that I have with people that come through my UCA system is night and day. And the fact that they come through this process, I don't even have to be a good salesperson to get the deal, because they're already sold on everything that I've already delivered for them. All right, so, and then the last step is to get to sales. So we're going to break this down. Okay, so step one, you saw is the traffic, right? There are many different traffic sources. There's organic traffic, and then there's paid traffic, right? Now, I'm going to walk you through some of the different social media platforms that you can leverage for both organic and paid traffic, but you got to know who you're trying to solve a problem for. You got to have a method for solving the problem, and then you got to find out, where are these people hanging out? Where are my peeps hanging out, right? So here's an example. I'm just going to walk you guys through some of the numbers for some of these. All right, so we have Facebook is the most popular, 1.9 billion unique monthly visitors. It's predominantly female, ages 18 to 49. So this is a very wide range of people. And then 75% of users spend 20 minutes or more on Facebook every day. All right, so people are very active here. People are spending a lot of time. And then we have Instagram. It's fastest growing, over 600 million unique users, predominantly female, but you see that it's still it's actually pretty close between the male and female, right? And then the most Instagram users are actually under 35, right? And then 53% of Instagram users follow brands. So if you know this, all right, so if I'm going to be marketing on Instagram, more than half of their users follow brands. So if you're marketing on Instagram, you want to find the brands that are authorities for the people that you want to serve, right? So you got to kind of know which platform you're trying to leverage and how you're trying to leverage it, right? And then you have Pinterest, 317 million monthly users. It's the most evergreen, right? It's predominantly female, and the age is fairly evenly distributed between 18 to 64 years old, right? People refer Pinterest are 10% more likely to make a purchase on e-commerce than users of other networks. So if you can tap into this demographic, they're buyers, right? If you can put the right offer in front of them, they're going to buy, right? And then it also has the best longevity. So if you're able to put something really, really good out in front of people on Pinterest, it's going to be there for a long time producing results. In fact, we started to develop take our lead magnet and put it on Pinterest to get leads coming through. And then LinkedIn, 106 million users, predominantly slightly male, more male than female. And then you see it's for professionals and B2B businesses, right? Which is great either for consultants or coaches, because if you're looking for people that have money, LinkedIn is a good place to start to build your following, start to build your reach, right? And then also more people that use LinkedIn are making more money on average per year than everybody else. So, and then you have YouTube, you have Twitter. I'm not going to go crazy into detail into each one, but you can start to see, you got to know where your people are hanging out. I've just barely begun to make YouTube videos. I haven't even created a Twitter yet, right? But you can obviously see the stats here is most oversaturated. So I haven't even looked at Twitter, but there's a lot of other traffic sources. You just kind of have to know where your people are hanging out and how to put your message in front of them, right? But once you have a unique system that operates independently of one specific platform, now you have the freedom to be able to put your message wherever you want. All right, so the second is the opt-in pages. So this is what my opt-in pages look like for each one. You can start to see it's very similar elements between all of them, because you got to know the principles. Headline, got my little countdown timer. I'm collecting their information and I'm letting them know exactly what they're getting, right? Not only are they knowing exactly what they're getting, but when they opt in, they're getting way more than I told them that they were going to get. All right, so it's important that you over deliver, but you got to let people know what they're getting. You got to let people know what to expect. So step number 3 is pre-framing, right? So key number 1 to pre-framing is you got to make your prospect's problem aware and widen the gap in a painful fashion, meaning that you got to help them recognize that they have a problem. And a lot of people want to minimize their pain and they want to minimize the problem. Your goal during this pre-framing phase is to really make a mountain out of a molehill. Why? Because if we're driven to avoid pain and we're driven to survive, our brain wants to help us survive. So you got to help your prospects become very problem aware, and you got to widen the gap, right? And then key number 2, you got to position your unique methodology as the obvious solution to their problem. Right? If you're able to position your unique methodology as the obvious solution, now they're considering you and they're looking to you for the solution. And then key number 3, and this is super, super important, you need to handle all objections as soon as possible, right? This is super important because this not only is it going to help your sales process, but it's going to make your life a lot easier getting on the phone with people that you've already pre-qualified. There's nothing more time consuming than getting on the phone with somebody who has no business being on the phone with you whatsoever, right? So that's where the pre-framing aspect comes in super handy. 99% of our sales comes from step 3. They don't even make it anywhere. It comes from right here. So you want to make sure you put time into developing a pre-framing method that not only pre-qualifies your prospects, it makes them problem aware, but then it also handles all their objections before they get on the phone with you, right? And then step number 4 is nurturing. So you want to give before you ask. You're offering a lot of value. And then during the nurturing process, you also want to be relatable and you want to be vulnerable. I used to think I needed to have this celebrity status, but it wasn't until I brought myself down and made myself human to my prospects, do they realize, wow, this person really understands me. He knows where I'm coming from. He's been where I've been, or in a similar position. Wow, I really believe he can help me, right? And then you need to have a clear call to action. What do you want them to do? All right, my call to action with my 7-day program is I want them to book a call with me, right? I want them to schedule time with either myself or the transformation specialist just to talk about their problems and get the help that they need. All right, so, and then step number 5 is fulfillment. Key number 1, you need to make it Facebook independent. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a time last year when Facebook groups weren't working. Like there was no way for people to become a part of a group. Like if they tried to join a group, just give them that spinning circle of death. A lot of people got a rude awakening because they weren't able to make any money because nobody could join their Facebook group. Meanwhile, I was still getting sales because my entire process is completely independent of Facebook, and I could take it and plug it into any platform. Let's say ClickFunnels decides to die. I could take my system, plug it into another funnel system. I could take my method, plug it in wherever I want. This is super important. It's got to be independent of Facebook. I don't give a damn what anybody tells you, right? You can't have all your eggs in one basket because as soon as shit hits the fan, you are screwed. So make it Facebook independent so that if you need to change your message and you want to put your message in front of a different audience that's on a different platform, you're not going to be reducing your reach as a result of taking them from one platform and putting them onto a competing platform, right? And then key number 2 is that it must be easy to implement. People need simplicity, right? I used to think that if I was able to be complex and communicate things in a sophisticated manner, that people would be like, wow, you're really smart, and it would build my authority. But I'll never forget, the smartest people, the people that truly understand a concept are able to break it down and regurgitate it in a way that people can understand, right? So you got to make it so that it's super easy for people to implement. And then key number 3, it must deliver some type of results, right? So whatever that result is going to be for your ideal prospect, it's got to be able to deliver that result so that they can start to see, okay, this person can actually help me. They're actually good at what they do, and they're actually going to get me to where I want to be. All right, so those are the 5 steps that I want to cover. So just to do a quick recap on everything we've discussed. Secret number 1, we just discussed how to create your own niche and become the go-to specialist for your market. All right, we discussed the importance of it, why you want to be a specialist, the perceived value of being a specialist, and the quality of prospects that you attract as a specialist. Secret number 2, we discussed how to build a unique methodology for getting client results that will separate you from the competition, right? You need a unique methodology. Why? Because it gives you a unique message and it allows you to build a unique lead magnet that's going to bring people into your world. And then from there, you can start to position yourself as the expert and as the authority. You can start to build, you create opportunities for yourself. You're able to build relationships, and you're also able to build trust, which is eventually going to translate into sales for your business. And then the final secret here is how to utilize systems and automations to turn your methodology into an automated lead magnet, right? So once we've done this, now you're able to have a machine that's able to do all the heavy lifting for you, and you don't have to do everything. You don't have to be the one to go through the pre-framing. You don't have to be the one to nurture. You don't have to be the one to fulfill. You don't have to be the one doing everything because you've systemized it and you've automated the process. And now it's going to be running independent of you and independent of any one platform So now you have a fully operational business that you can leverage. You can build a team around it. There's lots of different things that you can do, creates more opportunities for you. It's just absolutely incredible when you're able to have the system set up and be able to execute on it. So having these elements is the true key to just having an online business that creates time freedom and income freedom, right? When you're able to set this up, then for you, the limit to how much you can actually make comes to how many people you can push through the system. That's really the main limit. How many people can you push through that system? And then the next step is the sky's the limit from there. So for those of you guys that are being able to just kind of go through this, we're going to dive into some Q&As, but I hope you found this super helpful. And if you want me to actually help you build out the system and actually set it up so that it's unique to your message, because I don't want it to just be something that's like you just copying what everybody else is doing. You got to learn how to build a system and take the principles that I just shared with you and learn how to build a unique system so that you can actually be separate in the marketplace. And then you can actually start to develop and craft a marketing campaign that's unique to you and unique to your methodology. And now you can actually start to have a real life business. So let me know if you're